Welcome to today's video where we're going to be taking this and putting it onto a circuit board. Now, yes, I know normally when I do these kind of videos, I show you in CAD how to do it, or KiCad or EasyEDA or whatever. I'll show you how to do the circuit board and then put it together. We'll get into that in a minute on why we're doing it in a different order today. But yeah, so today's video is sponsored. We are sponsored by JLC PCB. So thank you to them for sending us the circuit boards. All right, let's talk about today's sponsor, JLC PCB, who sent us our PCBs for this video. Now, if you haven't been to their website before, definitely go check them out. Register in there so you can get your PCB made. And it's very simple to get it done. You just drop your Gerber file in there to get your quote on it. But they do 2-layer PCBs for just $2, and you can also get 4 and 6-layer PCBs for just $2. You're just at a little bit smaller size limit there. So you can only go to 50 millimeters, and still be in that price bracket, while your 1 to 2 layers, you have 100 millimeters by 100 millimeters. So yeah, a little different size there, but still. And they also offer assembly for $7 and stencils for $7. Again, with some limitations to that, but still great prices. You do have to pay shipping, but I'm telling you, you're not going to find any other company to beat this and get the same quality of work out of them. So definitely check out today's sponsor, JLC PCB. Okay, so let's discuss why we're not showing the CAD work in this one. All right, so you'll take a look here and see we got a pretty nice looking footprint here for the VFD screen right here. But yeah, it's not even close to the right size. I designed it myself, so that's no fault of them. No fault of JLC PCB on there. That's my design, and I accidentally went with the wrong size for the footprint, so I spaced all the legs out from each other 1.73 millimeters, but it was supposed to be 1.93 millimeters. So they slowly got to where they were fitting together less and less until you get to like the end there where, I mean, it's almost like a full 2 or 3 millimeters off before you hit it. So yeah, they don't line up on there. However, enough of them do line up to test it. So the only pins we actually need to line up are these ones right here, and then these ones. And then for the ground, which is right there, we'll just run a jumper and we'll be able to at least test that it works. Because all the rest of these pins, all these ones down here, this whole bottom row, other than those two and those two, those are all not connected. And same with all of these. They're just not connected. They're there to stand up the thing, and that's it. So we really don't have too many that we have to get to test it. So we're going to go ahead and assemble one anyways, so that way we can make sure everything functions before we do our next iteration of the circuit board. Because, you know, why not? Why not verify that things are working properly before we fix this footprint? So we're going to do that in this video. We're going to get this assembled and tested and make sure it's working. And we may even get into adding this feature. So I added a button when I did the CAD work to it, so I can add more features to it, so I change it from just sweeping all the time to doing other stuff too. So that's what we're going to do in this video. We're going to get this thing put together and get it tested and make sure it works. Make sure I didn't make any other design mistakes in here. And we're going to get to use this guy finally. I got a new air compressor, so now I can use my Jensen Global solder paste dispenser and flux dispenser. So get to try that thing out for the first time in this video. And yeah, let's just get this thing going. Let's get into this build. All right, so let's give this thing a test run. So now that I got my new air compressor, I can finally use this guy and not have to worry about the air compressor getting too loud. I think I need to turn that up just a hair. All right. Yeah, that's a good amount. I think we had some dried out stuff in the clip there. I'm going to turn this way down now. Let me go ahead and wipe that off and start fresh, because now we're heavy there. All right, so now let's go ahead and just set these guys on here and give that a little test. All right, so we have that row of resistors on there, and yeah, that wasn't too bad. So I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. So for the final board, there'll be a fuse here, and there'll also be the connector. I didn't order any of them for this first test run of it. But yeah, we'll just run a jumper there, and then positive, and then ground is how we'll wire that up. Okay, yeah, so all that we're missing now is the fuse, the switch, which my hot plate's not working right now, so cannot put the switch on using the hot plate, so I'll be hand soldering that on, and then these guys are all going to be hand soldered. And yeah, this doesn't line up, so we'll be just kind of, we can get this much lined up, which is the important part right here, is getting these lined up. This I'll have to just run a jumper cable, and these are all not connected, and all of these are not connected, so it's just these 8 pins right here, and then these, I believe, 8 pins again. I think that's actually 7 pins this time. So yeah, all of that has to get connected, but none of that does, and none of that does. So we'll be just setting it up to test it for this, and then we will finish from there. Okay, so next I'm going to put a socket on this one, just since I plan on taking this microcontroller back out in the future. And it just saved me from having to desolder the whole thing. All right, this one, I'm just going to solder it in. I'm not too worried about the getting it out, because it's not nearly as many pins. So this guy will just get socketed in like that. So this is our serial latched source driver that we'll use to drive the VFD. So let's get that soldered down in there. All right, so now all that's left is to get the VFD on there, and as we saw earlier, it doesn't really line up. Yeah, whoops, that's my fault. Learning the ropes here on doing measurements and making the whole thing work. So we're gonna make this work for the sake of this video, just to see this thing work. And yeah, I haven't put the button on yet, not in a huge rush, because I actually haven't programmed it to do anything with the button. So we'll get to add that later on, the code for it, and see if we can do some useful things with it. I guess I should probe out this and make sure we don't have any shorts across it, just because of the amount of that solder paste that was under there. So nope, and nope. So yeah, none of the pins are shorted together here. We are good to go. Cool. So that's also what I wanted to check there, just to make sure there wasn't a small amount of solder underneath that crystal oscillator causing a short. So yeah, I think my plan is to just get the pins in that I have to make this thing work, and then the rest of them, I'm just going to kind of bend these out so that way it'll sit down. See, yeah, that's not hitting anything yet. Actually, let's bend them inwards. I think that'll work out better, less likely to hit the thing there. These are the only ones that are going to kind of get in the way. I don't think any of the rest will get in the way of what I'm trying to do here, because I'm just going to force it to line up with all of that, solder that down, and then just run some jumper wire for the ground on here. Okay, and as you can see, it does work like this. All I did was pull the Atmega off of the Arduino board and just shove it in here for testing, so that way I could just verify that it does in fact work. So there are no other design errors in here other than the footprint size of the thing. So that's good news. So that means I can now move on to correcting that footprint, and we'll do a separate video on that to actually show how to draw a footprint in KiCad. I was actually going to show how to draw out this footprint in this video. However, I did it wrong, so it's an opportunity for another video. And then we will get the new PCBs in with the rest of the components and actually finish it. So this is going to be a two-part video here. So we got part one here, which is mocking it up and proving that it works, I guess. All right, guys. Well, hopefully you've liked this project as much as I did of making this screen and making it all work. This one's just been, you know, for me to learn how to do vacuum fluorescent displays and for making my own footprints, because it's new to me. I haven't made footprints before for KiCad. So it's been a learning experience. I will be doing a second video where I actually get this footprint correct and test it and make sure that works. If anybody knows how to do the GM variable pulse width, that J1850 variable pulse width with an Arduino, if you've had success doing that, let me know, and I would be really interested in learning how to do it, so that way I could actually make like a standalone module of this that can be used for LS swaps and work with GM PCMs. That way these things can go to use instead of going in the trash. This one, like this design, it's just for me to put my business cards on top of. It's just going to be a little thing that holds my business cards. It just has it doing that just for fun. But I would like to actually do a useful project with it instead of just, you know, something that's a toy. So yeah, I don't know how to do variable pulse width. I could do CAN bus, but then you'd have to tie it into something else, and yeah, I don't know. Also, if I did CAN bus, I wouldn't be using an Arduino. I would use, well, a Atmega in the Arduino suite. I'd use like an STM32 and use embed instead. So, and then that would mean I'd need a 3-volt rail, and this shift register doesn't work with 3 volts, then I'd need a level shifter. So I'm trying to avoid that and just keep it in that 5-volt realm there. So yeah, just let me know if you know how to do it. I would be interested in learning. But yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.